What's up, team? I'm going to run you through a workout today. Thank you for tuning in, by the way. And just to give you an idea as to what I'm trying to achieve this year, I've kind of got a pretty full plate in terms of what I want to do, and my training is going to reflect all of that. So I'm basically training 7 times a week, sometimes more than that. And I know that that might sound excessive, but the way that I'm structuring my training is enabling me to do that and have really good recovery as well. So just to give you a little bit of a background as to what I used to do, I only focused on traditional hypertrophy training, okay, which was basically me going into the gym, targeting one muscle group every single day, and basically just trying to grow lean muscle mass. I'm no longer very interested in that. I've hit my natural peak, I would say, in terms of how much lean muscle mass I can develop. It's no longer a goal of mine. I suppose it doesn't interest me as much. I've done it for 22 years. So time to move on to something else, because I think that in order to maintain training and enjoy it, you basically have to make sure that the goals that you're trying to achieve are enjoyable. So this year I am doing a combination of calisthenics, strength, indoor bouldering, and amongst all of that, I'm also trying to get better at golf. So my plate is certainly full. So today I'm just going to run you through a push-pull workout, which is really going to be a combination of calisthenics and also a little bit of strength work. And like I said, the volume of my sessions aren't very high. There's a lot of rest time because the intention is to get stronger and not necessarily fatigue my muscles out so much to the point where I cannot achieve my workout the next day, or where I can't go and rock climb the next day. Everything's just at a perfect balance. I kind of make a joke at the moment that I don't actually train that hard, but I gotta say, this is the most I've ever enjoyed training, and I've been doing this for 22 years plus now. So that's a pretty big statement to make, that I can say that I enjoy training just as much now as I did when I was 13 years old when I first started. Anyway, let's rip in. I'll do my best to go through everything today, explain to you why it is that I'm doing it, and it's gonna be fun. Looking forward to it. So let's rip in. All right, so first movement that I'm doing today is actually a handstand, but the last thing you want to do is just rip straight into a handstand. It's important to open up your shoulders, get some blood flowing. Make sure that you're always adequately warming up, because a lot of people have got can get into a bad habit of just going straight into the gym and straight into their first working set. Now, trust me, the older you get, the more you realize that things like warming up, and mobility, just being a little bit smarter about the things that you do are really important. Back in the day, all I cared about was how much I can lift or how hard I was working. But now I'm more concerned about what's the 60-year-old version of Mitch going to be like? How is he going to be functioning? So I do put a big emphasis into warming up and just thinking about my longevity a little bit more. So one of my goals last year was actually to be able to achieve a handstand. I wanted to achieve a handstand because it genuinely just looked really cool. It was something that I didn't think I was able to do, and now I can do it. I was very lucky and fortunate to have some really good calisthenics athletes coach me through it and tell me how to do it correctly. But now I look at the handstand as a tool for shoulder mobility, posture. Now I think it just keeps your brain sharp. You've really got to connect so many dots within your body and mind to be able to achieve a handstand. And for me, I consider this one of those exercises where if I can continue to be able to achieve a handstand as the years go on, as I continue to get older, I don't know, I just think it's going to help me live longer. So as my warm up, I'll generally just muck around with the handstands for 10-15 minutes. Nothing really specific. I'll just try and make sure that I can get a few decent handstand holds, 10 seconds plus. I just find it's a really good wholesome way to warm up your whole body and mind. Now, trust me, don't expect to just go and do a handstand and get it on your first day. Just to give you a bit of a gauge on how long it took me, it was realistically probably about 4 months of work, focusing on at least 10 to 15 minutes of handstand practice every single day. Okay, so going straight into our first exercise, I'm doing a weighted chin up. And it's really important to note that you can still follow this workout. For example, I'm doing a weighted chin up, but I've been training a very long time, so even just being able to achieve one body weight chin up is a really huge feat. So if you're not at the stage where you can do a pull up by yourself, please make sure that you're utilizing a band, for example, or you're utilizing an assisted pull up machine. Don't feel like you have to go straight to the top, because health, fitness, strength, it's just an accumulation of being consistently average every single day, ticking things off, and before you know it, you're going to achieve some pretty amazing things. So my first set, I obviously don't want to strap a weight around my waist and then just rip straight in. I still want to make sure that I'm warming my muscle groups up. So the underhand chin up is going to target the lats and also the biceps. So I don't want to waste too much energy on my first set. I see a lot of people wasting a whole heap of energy on warm-up sets. By the time you get to your working set, you don't have the energy to adequately perform. So all I do is grab onto the bar and perform 3 to 5 really nice, steady reps. I just hit my head. And relax. Now there's a few ways that you can position yourself to do the chin up. Number one is you can put quite a strong arch in your back, lean back and pull up like so. That's going to put more emphasis on your back. So having that lower back slightly arched. Myself, I'm doing it a little bit differently at the moment. I'll actually keep my body quite hollowed out like so. This just puts a lot of emphasis on your midsection and strengthens the abdominals. I'm not doing this for the intention of getting a six-pack or anything like that. I just know that everything I'm currently doing, calisthenics, rock climbing, the stronger that I can get my midsection, I'm going to be able to perform better in basically everything that I'm doing. So depending on what you want, you can arch that lower back and get a little bit more back activation, or you can hollow your body out like so. No matter what, you're going to get some fantastic back activation and also bicep. All right, so going for my first set here, my target is to go 3 sets of 5 reps. Now remember, because that rep range is a little bit lower, we're definitely focusing on more of a strength aspect, but please keep in mind that 5 good weighted pull-ups, you're still going to be developing muscle. My intention is just to make sure that I'm not so muscularly fatigued that I can't perform my activities the next day. And you'll notice on every single rep, my intention is to completely lock out, get a nice deep stretch before I pull it up. You don't want to just be doing these little half reps. The quality of your technique, the quality of your reps is the most important thing. It's more important than adding weight. And quite often I see people add weight before they get good technique. That felt good.
So I just completed 3 sets of 5 with the weighted pull-ups. Exercise number 2 is a flat dumbbell chest press. Now, I don't focus on a huge range of exercise selection whilst I'm training. For example, I'll use the same exercises for 10 plus weeks. So the reason I select, say, a flat dumbbell chest press over a barbell chest press is I believe for most people, it's the more superior exercise. I'm training both sides individually. It encourages strength, stability, and if you're anybody who's got even a slight shoulder problem, I recommend that you do select a dumbbell over a barbell anyway. So obviously my back and biceps are warm from the exercise I just performed, but the chest, shoulders and triceps, they need to get a little bit of blood in them. So the focus with this exercise is I'm going to perform 2 working sets of 10 reps. First set is just going to be a warm-up. Now my warm-ups I generally focus on just using a weight that's about 50% of my first working set. I just take it nice and easy. This is just an opportunity to get some blood into the target muscle, to warm up that connection with the exercise. Now let's just have a quick look at the setup of this exercise. Shoulder blades are driven into the bench. I've got a slight arch in my back. I take a breath at the top of the movement. I'll hold it the whole way down until I can feel a nice deep stretch through my chest. You'll notice my elbows are pointed slightly forward too. You don't want to do that. This puts negative pressure on your shoulder and it's not as effective on the chest. From here, exhale and push up. Now, if you want to feel a lot stronger on this movement, don't just think about your chest. Don't just think about your arms. Let's drive those feet into the ground. Squeeze your glutes. Shoulder blades are tucked down. I also, on the way down, this is a huge help for me, I know it'll work for you. As I'm coming down, I can feel my abdominals stretch out and expand. And as I push up, I'm not just thinking about my chest, I'm thinking about my leg drive, my glutes, my abdominals, my chest, and that press up. If you're just focusing on your chest, you've got this, the rest of your body is doing nothing. You want to incorporate every single muscle to get the most strength out of every single exercise. And as always, the most important thing is technique. Your technique's got to be good. If your technique isn't there, please don't continue to add weight because you're only creating bad habits. Make sure that you get a nice deep stretch right there before you press up. All these little half reps that I see people do is actually, well, it could be the reason you're not progressing. So that's my 2 sets of 10. Now, I'm a huge believer in quality over quantity. Don't just assume because you're doing, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 sets on a particular muscle group that you're going to get a better result. What's really worked for me for most of my life is reducing my exercise volume, but increasing the intensity. Just because you're doing more work certainly doesn't mean you'll get a better result. Let's move on to exercise 3. So third and final exercise for this workout is a standing dumbbell curl. Now again, because I'm not selecting a huge amount of exercises over, say, a 10-week training block, the reason I choose a dumbbell over a barbell is because the dumbbell allows me to work each side individually, giving even strength and symmetry. And also the reason I'm choosing to stand up is because my focus really is athleticism. If my main goal was to really blast my arms and develop more size, I might choose something like a seated incline curl or something that required less stamina. But because I'm standing up, I'm going to be focusing on keeping my midsection tight, my glutes tight. So it's kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Yes, I'm getting bicep development and strength, but I'm also forced to switch on all of these other muscles that are going to have a transfer effect into my calisthenics, into my rock climbing. Starting in a nice stretch position of the bicep, you want to make sure that no matter what exercise you're doing, you want to focus on giving the target muscle a nice full stretch and a nice full contraction. In other words, stop doing half reps. So that was 2 sets of 8. Now, yes, the volume is quite low. The rep range was quite low, but please keep in mind that I need to make sure that my forearms and my biceps aren't completely blasted and fatigued to the point where I can't rock climb, or I can't do calisthenics, or I can't get a decent golf swing. Strength, performance, and athleticism is my focus. Now, at the end of every single session, it doesn't matter if it's an upper body session or a lower body session, I like to go and grab onto a bar and hang off it for a good 3 sets of anywhere between 15 and 30 seconds. It's just a good way to completely decompress your entire body.